and welcome to another blessed, positive, God-inspired Sunday. It's a pleasure to be on your screens, on your TV sets, on your tablets, on your handsets, and everywhere that you are right now, and even live streaming on Facebook. Again, it's such a pleasure that you've taken the time to be with me here today. Now, like I always say, each Sunday, I love to give you inspiration and motivation to start your week right. So please take a look at the inspiration for the day, and please don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Our inspiration for the day. Don't be afraid to feel as angry or as loving as you can, because when you feel nothing, it's just death. Lena Horne.
For some of you that probably left your screens and went for something to eat or went to do something in the kitchen in the household, I want to remind you of the quote that we have for the day, and it actually reads, "Don't be afraid to feel as angry or as loving as you can, because when you feel nothing, it's just death." Now that just basically means that whatever you do it with passion and intention, and you're present in the moment, because when the heart beats to what it is that you're doing doesn't have any momentum, everything comes to a stall, to a pause. It means you're just basically non-existent. So put passion and compassion and energy and intention and faith, a lot of faith in whatever you do. Now, most of us, sometimes in these times that we are, in at the moment, which is completely the new normal, we forget that the pandemic is still very present in our livelihood, in our social, our work, our family settings. So there's a special message that I have for you from GTP, and it reads, "Your life matters, so take good care of yourself. Wash your hands under running water with soap. And if you don't have access to running water, please do use a hand sanitizer, alcohol-based hand sanitizer. You need to eat well and rest well, because it will definitely boost your immune system. And kindly follow all the protocols by GTP, Still Timeless. And don't forget, what you don't see doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So protect yourself, stay safe, wear your nose mask wherever you go, whenever you go out." Let's take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back. Hola, welcome back. And as I promised you on today's Woman, I bring you inspirational stories of women who are making a change, women who are game changers, women who are also young entrepreneurs who have established themselves and who are also going through the startup process. So a combination of both. Let's take a look at the woman on the move for today.
I went to nursing school in Dansoman. So I started for a year, and I started the clinicals. And I used to paint my nails, wear fold my Vans with socks and bracelets and all that. And anytime I go to the field, the in charge always sees them because it's not allowed. And I wasn't free in that field because I wanted to have fun, be able to do all kinds of hairstyles that I wanted, but it wasn't allowed. So I quickly realized that that wasn't my field, so I had to really move out of it. And that's how come I started going to the beauty school. Now I'm a beautician. I do nails, I do makeup, anything beauty. It hasn't been easy, but it's okay. It hasn't been easy because you can come the whole day and you don't get a client to work on. But it's fun because you always try to create new things. When it comes to the nails, there's always something new to try on, and it's fun. It's not a boring field. Yeah, when you're in a place that you're not comfortable with, you really have to move, because when you work in such a field that you're not comfortable with, because you easily get tired. But when you're in a field that you're comfortable with, you can even work and you'll be happy with it. You won't get tired of anything. You can do some services that you want to do for free because you love what you do. So you have to love what you do. If you don't love what you do, you can easily get tired of it and stop. And it won't even help you health-wise. When I finished the beauty school, I worked in a spa for 2 years, and I've been saving. That's how come I got this shop, because I've always been saving towards it. And I go to the market to get some few things and do home services. That's how I started. Home services, and I put down the money to gradually acquire this place. I would like to tell young ladies who are confused about what to do to follow their dreams, what they really want to do, because you don't want to be in a place where you are not comfortable in. You have to love what you do so that you can give out your best. Some of the mistakes I've made so far in business is investing in wrong products. Because if you go and you buy less expensive products, the outcome that it will bring you is not good. So you have to invest in good products to get your work very good. I had a client that I used the wrong raw materials for her, and the next day she came in. She told me that everything came off the next day. I was so embarrassed because she didn't like it, spending so much time in the spa and coming back and telling me that the whole thing went off. So I had to refix everything for her again, waste time and money because I did it for her for free. So I would advise that you should buy expensive raw materials to start off your business.
Chantal, I can totally relate to you because when I was also growing up, I was considered to be the misfit, the one that was the odd one out because I was a tomboy. I used to wear things that usually girls wouldn't wear. So I can totally relate to you. And colorful hair, eclectic colors, very retro lifestyle, and even your outfits is totally normal. So just be you. It's totally okay to just reinvent yourself and also set some kind of a reference point to somebody else. Now, I would love to see what different styles you do for nails and for pedicure. So kudos to you for that. And don't get discouraged because, there's only one way to the top, as I always say. You have to start somewhere and work your way up. Pitfalls are bound to be your stepping stones of growth. So don't worry, it's all good. So well done to you. Now, today's guest is a woman who, works within the Forestry Commission, and she's also a strong activist for climate change. That's the reason why I'm dressed in green, because it's about time that we speak about the relevance of climate change and deforestation and how it affects everyone's livelihood. Let's take a look at the profile of the day.
She's a mid-career executive working with the Forestry Commission of Ghana as the Director for Climate Change and also the National REDD+ focal point. She became director at the age of 35, being the youngest ever director in the history of the Commission, the first for the Climate Change Directorate and the second woman to be ever appointed to the position of Director at the Forestry Commission. Rosling believes that climate change is a problem of considerable global and national development concern that needs the attention and effort of every single human being. She therefore believes in reaching out to many, especially women and girls, to venture into this evolving and dynamic field, to make it count in the most unconventional ways. Our guest is in the person of Miss Rosling Fosuah-Agyei.
Hey, a woman of many hats, a woman that represents life. Rosling, it's such a pleasure to have you. Please have a seat.
Here, Michelle.
And please come a bit closer because you do have a shield, so I guess we're safe.
Okay.
Be comfortable. As you can see, the elements are around you.
Exactly.
Now, your profile carries a lot of weight.
Yeah.
That is quite an accomplishment that you've achieved at the age of 35.
Sure.
You hold a position in the Forestry Commission as a director, and that is a predominantly male-dominated, area.
Exactly.
Tell me about the journey to reach that point.
Wow, thank you, Michelle. And as you rightly said, there is definitely a story to this journey. And it's one that always gives me a humbling feeling because you said it, just 35 to be a director. I mean, there are just 3 directors who are women at the Forestry Commission. And I think that's just been pure grace. But then if you take grace or put grace aside, it's also been a lot of preparation.
Yes, because you studied natural resources in school, didn't you? You have a degree in natural resources.
Exactly, and then I also have a master's degree in carbon management. So I really put myself to the grill to to say that whatever I'm doing, I have to do this well. And so it's not even just about being given the position, but it's also about being able to perform. There should be results. There should be impact.
I like that. Because you see, I feel that a lot of women who are in high position or position of change and impact, have and should, by all means, use that to be more proactive, so action-based. But I'd like us to touch a bit more about, what the mandate is for the Forestry Commission and see how your role plays into that.
Exactly. So the Forestry Commission is a corporate body established by an Act of Parliament, Act 1999. And what it did was to bring together some entities who were already in existence. So we had the Forestry Department, the Wildlife Department, and also the Timber Industry Department. So they came together to form this corporate body, that's the Forestry Commission. And our mandate really is to sustainably manage the forest and wildlife resources of Ghana. And by doing this, we have a vision to live it better and richer for the communities and for the future generations that are coming to follow after us. So that is really what the Forestry Commission does. And with this mandate, we manage over 294, I think, forest reserves. So when we say forest reserves, these are areas that have been put aside to conserve nature in its highest form. We also are in charge of 18 protected areas. So I believe you've heard about the Kakum National Park.
I definitely
where you have a canopy walk. Exactly, that's under the mandate of the Forestry Commission.
So let's look at the structure, the organogram of the Forestry Commission. I'd like to break it down so that my viewers understand the importance of the subject for the day, because today's subject really is about deforestation and land degradation, as well as climate change, which is very important. So I'd like us to touch on the 294 reserves you spoke about. What exactly does that mean? As forest reserves, where exactly within Ghana? Because Ghana is, divided into 16 different regions. Where do we find these reserves?
We even have reserves in Accra.
Are you serious?
You know, we have lions in Accra.
Hey.
Exactly. 2 beautiful lions here in Accra, right here at Achimota.
Don't tell me it's Simba and what's that? The Lion King.
And I think that we haven't really advertised or sung really what we have in terms of ecotourism, nature, and what we can do with these
So
things.
you actually said something that struck a chord, because you said ecotourism. Ecotourism, domestic tourism, general tourism, are they not all interconnected to some extent? Because if we are able to bring in tourists to our natural landmarks or our historical landmarks and also get them to go to our reserves, are we not enhancing the knowledge and the awareness and the preservation because of the the funding coming through from foreign exchange for these reserves? So why is it not being spoken about?
Exactly. I think it's a culture. Michelle, it's a culture. I mean, you go to countries like Kenya and they derive a lot from tourism.
Yes, they do.
Exactly. They've put themselves
I mean, that's how they promoted themselves as a as a destination, a wildlife destination for vacations.
Exactly. But you see, I'm telling you about lions at Achimota and you're not aware. But you know about Kenya.
I do.
So, exactly. I think that for the work that we are doing, a lot of publicity needs to get in there. And I don't even really just limit this to the forestry sector. I think generally in Ghana, we do a lot. For the sector where I am in, when you go out for conferences, for meetings, you realize that we are doing so much, but we hardly put it out there. We are not really engaging.
So why now?
Because the time is
because
now.
Because of climate change awareness and the pertinence and alarming rate at which the earth is warming. Is that why? Do people even know that we have 30 more years, according to the SDGs at number 13, climate action, to make some lifestyle changes? Otherwise we will be extinct. Not just the 2 lions, though, us all.
People know, but sometimes I think it is the gravity of the issue is not so clear to them. So, now, when you go into our communities, a lot of our farmers know that the rainfall patterns have changed.
They have.
Exactly. And these are impacts or effects of climate change. Now, somebody has to translate that to them to know that whatever is happening, what you are visualizing, the dry periods being extended, the droughts coming in earlier than expected, the Harmattan is not even now very...
Our cycles have completely changed.
Exactly. This is what is happening. The whole climate is changing, and whatever you're feeling in Ghana has an impact globally. But then there's something that you can do, something that you can contribute to change this narrative so that we still have the earth as it should be for us to thrive.
Okay, your role as a director, what are you coming to do to make a difference in today's world as today's woman?
Okay. So I think that my role as a director is very, very important now at this point, particularly on climate change, because there's a lot that women can do. And we haven't in the past really segregated the benefits and the uses of our forest resources according to what men derive and what women derive.
Explain that a bit more.
Exactly. So if you get into a forest now, and you're a community member, it's very possible that a woman is going in for the non-timber aspects.
Okay.
A man is going in for the timber. And so if you are coming up with a policy to preserve, to conserve, or to protect this particular forest estate, you should be able to reach out to the woman and ask the woman what would be the strategies that will still help you to get your non-timber forest products. And then you should also be able to ask the man, what should we also put in place for you to still keep enjoying your timber products?
What kind of movement are you putting in place to create a change?
Okay, so we have come up with 2 very key programs for 2 very key landscapes in Ghana. One for the cocoa landscape and then one for the shea landscape, where we have come up with programs that help us to reduce these greenhouse gases that are causing climate change, and then not just reduce the gases, but then also empower the livelihoods in these landscapes. So, for example, we are talking to farmers and we are asking them, what else can we do to ensure you have the maximum productivity on your farmland? Now, apart from your farmland, can we also do something else as a livelihood enhancement
like vocational training,
exactly,
to reduce the deforestation?
Exactly, because I mean the whole issue about deforestation and forest degradation is a livelihood issue. Take it or
because that's all they've known, quite frankly, for all these years.
So you can't just say stop cutting down the forest without giving an alternative. But then the alternative, you're also giving should be commensurate, because we don't want to reduce anybody's livelihood opportunities. So what we are doing is, in partnership with different stakeholders, now we engage in the traditional authorities, we engage in the community members, we engage in private sector, because if you look at these 2 sectors, cocoa, share, we already have a lot of private sector entities. All we need to get them to understand is, can we channel your interventions into climate smart interventions that have win-win situations, that help us to stop the deforestation, to help us regrow our forest, but then also to positively impact agriculture, because agriculture is a major backbone of this country, particularly cocoa. I mean, we are known everywhere in the world for chocolate bars. So these are some of the things that we are doing, speaking to different partners, helping to attract climate finance, international
activists
and national.
I was even going to touch on that, because I feel like, when you look at other countries within the continent, so South Africa, Kenya, Uganda, there are about 7 main climate change activists that are making a lot of verbal noise, so to say. So what proactive steps can I do, for instance? I mean, I love you. Take me into a forest. Please don't misread this. Take me into a forest, put me in a garden, and I find myself in my element.
It's therapy.
It's therapeutic. And I respect plants because I feel that plants are a living source of life. They take carbon dioxide as, they give you oxygen. So it's a replenishing cycle of rejuvenation. Why is it that we don't really see that? And maybe is it the fact that there has been a lack of communication and proactive interest from your end, not necessarily you, but from the Commission, to educate people on the importance of this?
So if we go back to how the Forestry Commission also operates and the policies that we are working with, when we started working, our policies were more focused on the extractive uses of the forest. Exactly.
As opposed to the preservation.
Exactly. So cutting down. So we've had different iterations of our policy. The current one, that's the 2012 Forest and Wildlife Policy, is rather focusing on the non-consumptive uses of the forest, to say that we can pay for these ecosystem services that the forests provide. I mean, carbon sequestration is an ecosystem service. The watersheds that are being managed by these forest resources, they are an ecosystem service. Can we keep these forests intact, but then still give commensurate value for these standing forests to the communities? And again, I say here, the Forestry Commission is just a custodian of these lands. The lands do not belong to us, so we are taking care of these resources. Therefore, whatever we generate from these resources go back into the communities.
So can we start from the beginning to get to educate women, especially because I mean they are the caretakers of our household. They are the glue that binds everything together, and they are the mouthpiece of change. I say that with confidence. We surely are. And because we are nurturers, we can make a difference. When would you think you can start this movement of change? I would love to be your activist. I would love to speak on environmental protection and climate change, because I think it's time to have someone speak confidently and speak about the subject so that everybody else can relate to it, because this is an alarming situation we're in.
Exactly, and I welcome you on board, Michelle. That's really what we need now. And you see, our communication is at different levels.
Yes.
So when you go down into the grassroots, there's a language that we'll speak, because we have a communication strategy that helps us to drive our interventions.
Yes, by all means.
Exactly. When you're speaking with a politician who has just about 30 minutes to spare with you, you don't come and pull up 130. Exactly. You have a simple policy brief that tells you what do we do.
The key message and the practical steps.
Exactly. How does climate change, how does forestry drive economic development? Exactly. So it's straightforward. When you get into the communities, as I was saying, it's about livelihoods. So if I'm supposed to stop the deforestation, what else are you giving me? How does my life look better by engaging in these interventions? And we have all these planned out and we are rolling them out. Again, I go back to the fact that I don't think that we really think what we are doing. And you mentioned something very important. Women are nurturers.
Yes.
And that's where we come in here. So if I go back to how women are connected to this whole discussion, for the forestry sector, most of our nurseries where we have our plants, our seedlings, they are established by women. They take care of the plants and then they do most of the planting. Even as farmers in our agricultural sector, you have a lot of women in there. Now, if agriculture is driving deforestation and women are in there, it means that when we get the education to them, they can help us implement these strategies.
When are you doing that?
So we are already in motion. Exactly. I mentioned we have been planting trees, the Forestry Commission, for so many years. We have a National Forest Plantation Development Program.
So if you've been planting trees for so many years, has it really made an impact of change?
It has, Michelle.
Because then why are we still witnessing deforestation and land degradation? Why are we still going through that?
We have to put the discussion into perspective.
Where
were we?
Yes.
What was our deforestation rate 10 years ago? Where are we now?
I really want to know if you can give us 3 things that you're putting in place this year for kickoff for next year. I would really appreciate that. What's the first thing you're actually putting in place this year?
So this year, what we are doing now is to build governance structures that enhance decision-making initiatives. So initially, it was a lot of a top-bottom approach. Now what we are doing is doing more of the bottom-up.
Yes.
But then before you get to do the bottom-up, we need inclusiveness, very key.
Okay.
Because that's the message we have been preaching, that a lot of the women haven't been involved. So we have set up different...
more inclusion.
Exactly, framework structures. Now we are implementing those structures. We call them governance arrangements. So if you get into a particular forest landscape, there is a management board that oversees the operations of the people in that particular landscape. Now, this management board is also going to be in charge of issues on benefits sharing. Because in all this, when you're able to sequester the carbon, when you're able to reduce the greenhouse gases, you're going to get some payments. Now, we hardly don't mention those payments because we think that they are not really commensurate compared to the level of work we are putting into protecting these forests. But again, it's still something coming in, no matter how small it is. So when it comes in, who should be the beneficiary of this? Now we are setting those structures in place to avoid any elite capture. If you have been able to take care of your agricultural practices such that they are climate smart, you have not deforested, we should be able to measure that, verify that, and then pay you whatever you are expected to receive in kind, not in cash. I need to mention.
So with
this.
what exactly? With tools, agricultural tools, fertilizers, and all of that.
Agricultural tools,
so
organic fertilizers.
This year you're basically putting frameworks in place for implementation for next year.
No, we are already doing that.
So you're already in the process.
It's part of implementation. The frameworks were developed. Now we are on the ground, rolling them out, consulting the stakeholders, knowing what should work best, who wants to be on the table, who should be on the table.
On that subject, I have always wondered, why is it that the Environmental Protection Agency and the Forestry Commission don't join forces to create public awareness campaigns? Because the two are interconnected, the environment and the forest. So have you organized any form of communication campaigns? Have you organized activations? Have you organized any form of training programs within the rural area as a collective, or is it something that you're considering?
So if it's about publicity events, we haven't jointly done that on a very large scale.
Okay.
But then we work hand in hand.
Okay.
For example, the Environmental Protection Agency also has a fund from the Green Climate Fund working on adaptation planning, because climate change is about mitigation and adaptation. If you can't prevent it, how do you brace yourself up for it? How do you build resilience? And the Forestry Commission is working with the EPA to do this. And as you have said, it's a major part of that particular program or project is also to work with ambassadors who champion this cause, who put it out there.
Exactly.
People who are influential, who can get policymakers.
Opinion leaders as well.
Exactly, exactly. To really get into adaptation planning with sustainable finance. I think it's one thing that we really also lack in this country, because we're able to come up with a lot of plans, but the finance is an issue. And now no international donor wants to give you funding if you are not able to raise your own co-financing.
But you just recently got a funding of over $54 million dollars from the Green Climate Fund.
Yes.
So you obviously have the resources to put these implementation plans into place.
Sure.
So,
and that has taken 2 years, to get that
but
amount.
it's here now.
Of course. And for me, what would be very, very good, and I can really say that yes, we are getting there, is to get into the landscape that these funds are targeted for at the end of the project, to say that yes, we see changes. We see that deforestation has halted. We see that share trees, there are more share trees. There is more forest
They're
cover.
being replenished at least.
Exactly, because a lot of people are cutting down the share for wood fuel. And it's very disturbing, because we know that the cultural significance of the share trees cannot be taken away from that particular landscape. And so getting this fund in is very, 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 it's a huge milestone for us. Anybody who knows the Green Climate Fund knows that it's not that simple to get funding from the Green Climate Fund.
Kudos to you for that, for all the efforts that you put into place. We'll be looking forward to seeing the changes and also hearing the new communication that reaches the grassroots and all other areas as well, so that we can start seeing some proactive, measures being put in place. Now, I want to touch a bit more about you, Roslyn, because this beautiful woman...
I hope I'm safe.
Oh, yeah, totally safe. You're on Today's Woman. How couldn't she be safe? A beautiful woman who is the president of the Forestry Commissions Association, Female Association.
Exactly.
Number one. Number two, you're the director of the Forestry Commission. That's a huge. Huge. You're taking care of the natural resources of Ghana, essentially, without us having you in that position to ensure that the lands, the reserves are protected. Most of us don't have the oxygen to even breathe. How do you breathe at home? How do you just let it all, just take a deep breath, exhale, and just, how do you breathe at home?
Maybe that was just what I did now.
You just exhaled.
Exactly. And I think I hardly have time to catch my breath. And I'm also a lay pastor.
You are?
Exactly, yes.
Okay.
Exactly, at the Keeper's
So that's probably
House
gives you
Chapel.
that's the strength. That's where the strength is coming from.
Exactly.
The strength and the resilience and
Exactly.
the stamina.
Exactly. I think that the joy of the Lord is always my strength. It's very difficult, but I take one day at a time because I'm in a path possibly that has not been explored yet. I'm a woman amongst many men, but what is also important is that I have a very good team who just keeps supporting me. You have bosses who just keep giving you the support. You have external and internal stakeholders who are always there that you can fall on. And what I think sometimes that's get difficult is how I can do ministry so well and then also not break up the home front. Because if these two get broken, it will tell on the career path. So I always fall back on God's word and know that tomorrow is definitely going to be better than yesterday. So I just keep going, and I have a very supportive family as well. My husband supports me with our son. Most of the time, if not for COVID-19, I think I would have taken like 10 trips already this year.
Same here. But you see, you spoke about ecosystems and
Exactly.
ecotourism as well. Have you ventured into other areas of Ghana with the family, and where would you recommend that we even go? Because I never knew that we had 294 reserves in Ghana. Even in Accra itself, we had one.
You can go to the Wichao Hippo Sanctuary. There are so many beautiful things there. You can, just here in Accra, you can go to Shy Hills, where we have zebras there.
We have zebras in Shy
Exactly,
Hills.
Shy Hills. We have a resource reserve there with zebras.
I can't believe this. I want to know more about this, but let's take a quick commercial break. When we come back, let's go learn more about how to even plant a tree and how to preserve it. Don't go anywhere. This is quite an interesting subject. We'll be right back after this break.
Our host, stylishly glammed up by First Choice Beauty, CVL Beauty,
Apricot,
Pistis Ghana.
Hola, welcome back. And again, like I always say on this particular segment of the show, we like to demonstrate and illustrate certain things that may be taken for granted or probably even not even known. Now, the first part of the show, we spoke primarily about the framework, the mandate of the Forest Commission, and also the proactive steps that are being put in place to educate women in the rural areas on deforestation and land degradation, and also empower them with additional vocational knowledge and training. But right now, what we want to do is to show you some different plants that grow into beautiful trees that we all need for shelter, for oxygen, and for general ambience, because trees, trust me, they add to every single way that you feel and you even look at the color. See? No, but quite seriously, today we're talking about 6 different trees that we have locally, but I'd like us to talk about them individually from your perspective. Sure. I see a lot of this almost everywhere, you know, within the city and also on the way out of Accra. What's this tree called?
So, that is a flamboyant.
Okay.
Flamboyant. We also have mahogany here.
This is the mahogany tree?
Exactly.
How can you differentiate this? Because it looks like a very regular tree. The leaves look very...
I mean, trained people can just differentiate from the bark.
The bark. Okay,
exactly,
the bark, okay.
The bark of the tree.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that's like the skin.
Okay.
Exactly. But then for a lay person, you might want to ask or seek clarity from the Forestry Commission on which is which exactly.
Okay.
And that's why we are there. And if people want to plant trees, we are also trained and built to give technical advice.
Okay.
Exactly.
And where to plant them as well.
Exactly.
So when it comes to landscaping and you say that, you know, the urban roads, the Forestry Commission, the EPA, do you have some kind of a framework policy that you use in, you know, in the positioning, the placement and the planting of trees? Is it something that you all have as a...
Exactly. So for the
reference?
Forestry Commission, as I mentioned, our mandate is really within the forested areas.
Okay.
Exactly. So whether the reserves or off-forest reserves,
Okay.
exactly. Where we do planting on the farms, if it's off-reserve, because farms are not allowed in the reserves. So if you have like a cocoa farmer or any other farmer, we really practice a lot of agroforestry systems.
Okay.
And we promote that because once you have the trees interspersed with your crops, it actually gives it more moisture.
Okay.
It regulates the shade, amount of shade that your plants are receiving, your crops.
Okay.
And so you realize that you can have the land being more fertile because you're not exposing it to more sunlight.
Out of these trees that we have here, which ones would you recommend that I use in my household that would not attract mosquitoes, that would repel mosquitoes if possible, and also just, you know, give me the right shade and shelter that I need to prevent overheating in the household as well?
So the trees that normally we advocate to have in compounds, in houses, they are from the Terminalia species. We don't have some here. Terminalia. So you see, they branch out.
Okay.
So they give you the right amount of shade.
Okay.
You can have it in your home. It doesn't have too much of an extensive root system.
Okay.
But again, we'd have to inspect wherever you want to put this tree. So today, for the demonstration purposes, I just want our viewers to also know that this is just a pot. It's not for a tree. Because the tree has a very extended root system.
Are you going to be educating more people on how to manage, how to maintain, and how to respect trees?
Exactly. So our doors are open, and I think just about a year or two ago, we actually enrolled a lot of youth, about 60,000 or so of them,
Okay.
in a national planting exercise. So we call that particular project the Youth in Afforestation Project. We have people in Accra who are on hand to plant.
Okay.
So we are doing
How
some
often do
aspect
you
of
do this?
urban planting as well. The planting season is normally the rainy season.
Okay.
So in every year, you expect that from April to sometimes around August, September.
But it's so
Now we
sporadic
have-
and erratic nowadays because of climate change.
Exactly. So now we even have planting being done maybe towards the latter part of October because you still have the rains.
Okay.
And the rains will be there for some time. So you can't do this planting. But what we do is, we work in collaboration, you mentioned, with the Land Use Plan, I think, and Spatial Development Authority, because they are in charge of the urban areas.
Okay.
Exactly. So even if you want to cut down a tree, you would have to seek some permission, even though it is yours, irrespective of where it is.
Tell me about these last few plants that we have here and show us exactly how to transplant them,
Okay.
plant them, and give them life.
Okay, so this is Montalis. I mean,
Okay.
the names, we'll have to look some of them up so that you really know what we are talking about, because these are
I
not
thought we
things-
said Montana.
because these are not plants you engage on
Okay.
a daily basis.
Okay.
Exactly. And this is Spectabilis.
Spectabilis.
Exactly,
Oh, definitely
huge
very
names.
spectacular presence.
And then we have Militia here.
Okay.
Exactly. So these are like the common names.
Okay. Which ones do you
And then we
find
have
at
acacia.
home primarily? Which ones do you recommend that we use in our backyard, in our
So you
gardens?
can have acacia in your backyard.
Okay.
It's more like a...
Can we plant acacia right
Sure,
now and
that's
show
fine,
our
we can
viewers
do
how
that.
to plant acacia?
Yes. So before you plant, you normally have to dig up the soil. On site,
Yes.
in a forested area or on a farm, what we normally do is you need to identify where you want to do the planting.
Okay.
There should be some site preparation,
Okay.
because you can have debris, dead wood, exactly. You have to clear the land.
You know,
And then-
you make it sound so easy, but I feel like a lot of the things are not quite implemented in that particular way.
No, it's easy because we are working with the local communities who are in touch with these natural resources on a daily basis. So they know how to do these things. So if you come to the Forestry Commission, we don't go out to plant on our own. As I said, even for the Youth in Afforestation program, we are working with the youth, building in them the essence of planting these trees and nurturing these trees.
It's long overdue.
Exactly. When you go to the communities, when we are doing our planting in the forest areas, we engage with the farmers. Now, there's a particular arrangement we have that whatever tree that a farmer or anybody plants within a forest reserve, you have a benefit coming out of that tree at maturity. And whilst you are planting those trees as well, you are given a space of 5 years to
Okay.
incorporate your food crops.
Okay. Do you have any kind of monitoring system
Exactly.
where you keep track
Exactly.
of what they're doing?
Exactly.
Do you
So
do
the
that?
Forestry Commission has regional offices in all the regions in Ghana.
Okay.
And then we have district offices as well.
Okay. So you're widely spread. You've got a
Exactly.
wide network
Exactly.
of presence.
Exactly. So our district officers have the technical staff there who you can approach, who actually lead most of these planting exercises, and the community members know them.
So let's go in and plant this acacia
Exactly.
tree.
So on a field,
Oh,
you would
look, it's
already,
actually budding little leaves here. It's growing.
you'd already have done what we call pegging, because we have a planting design. You don't
Okay.
want your plants coming out haphazardly.
Okay.
And so if you're planting, you have a planting design, and then you peg with sticks,
Okay.
so that you can have it well laid out. So when you get to where you have your peg, you just have to dig up the soil. Normally we use a cutlass or a hoe,
Okay.
exactly, to do that. You dig up the soil. And
How deep must you go? Because you're just digging.
Exactly. So you can use
the size of that,
exactly,
okay.
exactly, because
a
you want
measuring
this whole part
reference.
to be covered up.
Okay.
Exactly. And normally, we advocate for the use of biodegradable polypots. So
Can we
have some
can we
that are
just? I
biodegradable.
know for some of us who already know what biodegradable is, can we just expand on that a little bit more? What is
Exactly.
biodegradable? What does it really mean?
Meaning that it is friendly to the environment.
Yes.
So it will just decompose.
Okay.
That's actually the word. And then it's not harmful to the soil.
Okay.
But then if it's not, then it means you have to take this off. So
Okay.
if it is, you just leave it on. So once you've put it in there, you have to bring back the soil,
Okay.
because we need it to get firmly grounded. Exactly. So you push it back, and then you firm it up.
Okay.
Firm it up.
Great. Let me assist
Exactly.
you with this.
Yes. So after this is done, you have to pour water.
Okay.
So just enough. Exactly.
Some of us over soak the soil.
Exactly.
Rosalind, I am
Yes.
so glad that you were very hands-on, literally, to show us how to go about the planting process. I'm also glad that you are, again, like I said initially, today's woman, we like to applaud and also to celebrate women who are making a change in areas that we've probably forgotten about or need more awareness and education. Also, thank you for the education, and I wish you all the best with this green fund that you just received under
the Green Climate Fund to help to build ecosystem resilience in the share landscape.
She couldn't have said it better. And obviously.
Empower the women there.
But that's the most important thing. And how to also give them, tools of trade.
Exactly.
Thank you so very much. I really am glad that you made the time to be with us today.
I've had a good time here, and I look forward to coming back.
Oh, I'll definitely have you back. On this particular note, it has been a topic about environmental protection, preservation, and how to also do things differently, because the new normal is teaching us how to be thinking outside of the box. And on Trendy Woman on today's segment, we speak about how to make your own natural biodegradable paper bags. Let's take a look at how we can preserve the environment and still be chic and trendy. Take a look. We'll be right back.
On Trendy Woman today, we take a look at how to make an environmentally friendly paper bag for your shopping. Your working tools: cardboard sheets, scissors or knife, pencil, glue. Step 1. Cutting the sheet to the required measurement. Step 2. Fold them accordingly in 3 parts, 2 equal measurements, then glue the third remaining part onto the folded side to form 2 halves. Step 3. Fold one end of the folded sheets to form a base of your bag by gluing it. Step 4. After creating the base of the bag, fold both horizontal sides of the sheet in small measurements. Step 5. Open bag to see how big or small it looks. Step 6. Create 4 holes at the top opening of the bag. Step 7. Fix a handle into the holes and your bag is ready for use.
Hola, welcome back. And I bet you didn't know that you could create your own paper bag in your own kitchen, in your own home. Nowadays with YouTube and with so many things happening around the world, you have to be creative and you have to think outside of the box. Self-reliance is very important. And so that you can also make a change in your own small way and preserving and respecting the environment. It's about time, because the climate is warming at a rapid rate and it's ticking. So it's real-time awareness. On DIY today with Akuvia Jabs, we learn a bit more on DIY tricks and tips. Take a look at Akuvia Jabs by GTP.
Hi there, welcome back to DIYs with Akuvia Jabs. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to refurbish your old rusted hanger into this. The first thing you do is to spread your fabric on the table, fold it into 2 equal halves, reach out to your pinking shears and cut out 3 strands from the fabric. 3 strands is enough for you to wrap around the entire hanger. After cutting your strands, pick your hanger and start wrapping your fabric around it firmly. Keep wrapping your fabric around the hanger until you get to the end of it. So pick your glue and glue the rest of it onto the hanger. easy tutorial. Thank you so much for watching, and see you again in my next video. Bye.
Akuvia Jobs always surprises me with her DIY segment because some of the things that she demonstrates are so easy, and I think you should try them out yourself at home or wherever you may be, because I definitely love what she gives to us every single Sunday. But we have to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, Home and Wellness is next. Stay tuned.
Today's woman is supported by Casa Tresaco,
Samsung,
Chemo Home Limited,
Hola, welcome back. Now I know like most of us are just going about our daily routines, our daily lives. Some of us are, even because of the restrictions being lowered and some places being open, most of us forget that the pandemic is still very prevalent. We forget that it's still in the midst. It's airborne. So we must take care of ourselves. And then we have a special message just for you from GTP, and it reads, your life matters, so take good care of yourself. You need to wash your hands under running water with soap, and if you don't have access to that, please use a hand sanitizer, alcohol-based, by all means. And you do have to eat well and rest well to boost your immune system. Stay positive, no negativity allowed. Keep yourself active, and please follow all the protocols by GTP Still Timeless.
Home and Wellness is brought to you by First National Bank and Fee Trip.
Now, on the Home and Wellness segment, we like to speak more about practical things. We like to demonstrate to you wellness, home management, home decor, and everything to do with you and your home and your wellness. But today specifically, we're touching on the subject of personal training and wellness. Today, I have with me a personal trainer from FitTrip to tell us a bit more about the importance of having a personal trainer in your gym. Hi. Selasi, tell us about the importance of having a personal trainer.
All right. Personal training simply means having somebody who knows exactly what he's doing and is taking you something very specific.
Okay.
Tailored for you. You can walk into a gym and you can grab any piece of metal and start clanging and banging.
And a lot of people do that.
And a lot of them have very bad form.
Okay.
The benefits of having a personal trainer is that you have something that is tailor-made for you. If you have any condition that might restrict your movement, some of these exercises can be scaled down
to suit your needs. Okay.
And at FitTrip, that is what we do. We are very, very particular about giving the best that we can offer to our clients. We are very particular about helping somebody customizing right. The workouts to suit whoever it might be, whether you are 100% or you have some injury or whatever it is.
So lastly, when we come into FitTrip, let's just talk about what you would do to someone who has probably back injury, someone who is maybe sort of middle age and who's afraid to work out.
Okay. The first thing you want to do is you want to assure the person that they are in great hands.
Okay.
You know exactly what you're doing. You know exactly how to help them. Then what you do is you sit down, you give them about 10 minutes, 15 minutes of your time. You sit down, you talk about their history, if they have any injuries. You need to know where they're coming from, what they do on a daily basis, sometimes what their diet is.
Oh,
because
yeah, that's
for some
very
people,
important.
their diet is their problem.
Isn't it true that they say that 80% of the journey of the weight loss journey is actually from your kitchen?
From your kitchen, exactly. They also say abs are made in the kitchen.
Abs are, I
kitchen.
like that one.
Yeah.
You know, we could talk forever about the importance of having a personal trainer, you know, in your gym, and specifically, you know, going to FitTrip. But I want us to take a look at a video that we have for you that demonstrates most of the things that they do at FitTrip and how important it is for you to take a look at what they do and also have your own personal trainer, possibly even Selasi. Take a look.
Don't stop. This is the life you chose, all right? Let's go.
Home and Wellness was brought to you by First National Bank and Featrip.
All too soon, today's one has come to an end. I do hope and pray that you start your week on a positive note. Please set out your tasks and your objectives for the week. Prioritize on things that you want to do. Put them in chronological order. Don't stress, because God's got you. And stay blessed. I'll see you again next week, right here on Today's Woman. Take care. Be blessed. Bye-bye.
Buso wami au kolana ilondolo